Cool, we're set up. Hey guys, my name is Amber. I work at the Makerspaces here at Mary. I'm going to teach you guys how to make a custom decal t-shirt. So the t-shirt you're going to pick out or work with, this one I got at Joann's, like $3. You can also use any old plain t-shirt you have. Just be sure if you buy your t-shirt from like a store that you wash it beforehand, especially if it's cotton. This one's 100% cotton. Cotton can shrink a lot. So you want to shrink it before you put any decals on, or else, it messes up your design. So what I'm starting with for today is just teaching you, before we do anything with the decal or mess with it, we take it from an image and then print it out for us, or cut it out. I'm going to teach you how to center your design onto the t-shirt. So what I've got here, just a t-shirt laid out flat here. Again, this is going to be for our custom decal. And you're going to look at these little, see the seams here that connect the sleeves. You're going to take it can be a ruler. I've got a tape measure here, so I'm going to be using that. And you're going to measure, you're going to line it up to the neckline here. And you're going to measure from this seam here to this seam here. And I've already done that beforehand, but you're going to see where those two line up there, and then mark where your center is here. You can use pencil. We have washable markers, so either or works fine. I don't know if it might be a little hard to see for you guys, but there's like a little orange dot here. So yeah, once you find your center, when you set a decal, when you want it to be on the center mass here, you're going to find your center, and then you're going to measure 3 finger widths down. So here's what I'm going to do. So I have my center here. I'm going to measure 3 finger widths down. Just do a little line here. And the reason that's there is so when you wear this, it's not hugging your neck, And when you're applying your decal, you're going to try to line it up according to here, not here, but according to here. So yeah. This is also a good part to start thinking about how big you want your decal. So again, if I take out this tape measure again, and let's line it up down here instead. This will give you like a actual visual of like, okay, if my design is 3 inches, it's going to take up yay, and then so on and so forth. So personally, for this project, we'll be doing the Makerspace logo on here, and I'm thinking of doing like a square from 4.5 by 4.5 inches. Again, of course, whatever project you're doing, can make it bigger or smaller. But just, this is a bit to help visualize it. So that's what we're doing here. So now that this is all measured out, again, this is step 1 for preparing how to make a custom t-shirt decal. It's just like what we did is we found the center of our t-shirt, and then we're going to give 3 finger widths of space to where the decal's at, and just thinking of how big we want it. So for the next step, I'm going to show you, we're going to be using the Silhouette Cameo, and it's a software, Silhouette Studio, and we'll be uploading a PNG of the logo, and then getting that ready to be cut out onto some heat transfer vinyl. So I'm going to actually have to move you guys, just 1 second. All right, we're going on a trip. Let me bring you over here. 1 second. Let me try to set this up. Trying to get a good look at the screen here. Yeah, I know we're a little all over the place, but it is what it is. So that's the Silhouette Cameo right here. That's what we'll be working with in just a second. And the color here is the color we're going to be using. We have a couple different colors here. This is just the one that I want to use for now. So let me set this up here. So we should be able to see the screen. I'm just going to walk you through. Let me see if we got a good view. We got a good view. Okay. Double check in. Okay. Very professional setup. Don't worry about it. So this is what we have here is a Silhouette Studio. Process I'm going to show you now might look different on other vinyl cutting, paper cutting devices like Cricuts. But for the Silhouette Cameo here, I'm not going to go through the whole list of what you can do on here. But for our purposes, we're going to click File here and Open, and we're going to open up the image we want to use. In this case, our logo here. So notice it's a little small, but the neat thing that Silhouette does is it shows your inches and stuff right here. So again, I'm thinking maybe 4.5, maybe round up to 5, somewhere in there. So I'm going to click and drag this. I can hold Shift while I do it so it stays a square. And I'm going to do like, let's see, yeah, that's good. Oh, right in the middle, like 4.75 inches. And whenever you're using, for this project or any other projects related to paper cutting, you want to line it up to the top corner here, because that's going to relate to the top left corner of your piece of paper that you're going to be using. So I'm going to line that up here. Okay. So now that we have that set up, we're going to click on over here. The trace panel kind of looks like a little butterfly. We're going to hit trace area and just click and drag over here. So how the program detects what you want to cut out is from order of darker color to lighter color. So black, super easy to read. We don't really have to do much else to it. But let's say a design that you want to use has a couple different colors going on. You may need to play with some of these other settings here, but for our purposes, we're completely good to go. So, but if you are working with something that has other like lighter colors in it, you can increase threshold to increase. It'll start picking up lighter colors more. Decrease threshold to not pick up the darker colors as easily. But for now, this is perfect. So we're just going to hit trace. And now you'll see there's like a little, might be hard to tell for you guys, but if you're using the program, there'll be like a little red outline. You can click and drag the image now. And what's left here, it's basically like a little red outline of this that's outlining the black. These are where the paper's going to cut, which is great. So this image now, we can just delete it. We don't need it anymore. And right now, we're pretty good to go. Again, if anyone who's just joining in, we are learning how to make a custom decal for a t-shirt. We already did step 1, which is measuring out the t-shirt and preparing to make it center. Again, when we get back to the application phase of things, we can run over that again real quick. Right now we're on step 2, which is prepping your image. So now that this is already prepped and ready to be good to go, what we can do now is we can hit on send here. And this is going to show like what's in bright red here is what's going to be cut. We don't have to worry about any of that stuff right now. But one you do want to check is whenever you're using any of these devices, make sure you've got the right material set up. So for me, I'm going to look for heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl and smooth is us. And this is good here. And before we get set up here, I'm going to scoot you guys back. So just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Let me scoot you guys back here. And now we have a better view of the Cameo in action. Trying to make again professional setup, totally professional setup. There we go. Okay. So Oh, let me actually get you a little closer. Okay. So now that we've got our image ready, once we hit that send button that I just showed, that's gonna start making the paper cut. So how we get to that stage here is we're gonna take our heat transfer vinyl and we're gonna apply it onto our mat here. And the mat here is really sticky. So what we're gonna do is just line up top corner to top corner. Make sure it stays on along the lines. Pretty easy peasy. So I'm gonna do that over here real quick. Just start in that corner. And it's just whenever you apply, you want to make sure you get any air bubbles that might be there. 1 second. Might have made a mistake. See, we're all learning here. The thing about heat transfer vinyl is, and sometimes, I forget about it too. There's two different sides. One's the actual color, and one is the protective transfer paper. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that this side is down. So you want to make sure the transfer side is down. So. Sorry. I just had to check on something real quick. I'm going to reapply this, leave it nice and neat, but yeah, just make sure that your transfer is down. Then, if any mistakes are made at this stage or any other stage, got plenty of paper left, so no worries. Okay, so now that we've got it attached on here, again, we're matching top corner to top corner. For silhouette, you can see what the little logo is. Then we're going to see, you can kind of see the little arrows here. The line here. I'm going to line up, match those arrows, and should I get that here? I might remove this guy. 1 second. I'm going to just lift this guy out the way. And put him right here. All right. Again, we're on step 3 of making a custom vinyl decal for your t-shirt. Step 1 that we went through earlier is just measuring the t-shirt, making sure it's center. Step 2 was preparing the image and silhouette, which in our case is just making an actual silhouette of the logo, of our Makerspace logo. And step 3, just getting the paper on here. And once we're lined up here, you can hit load here. It's going to eat it right up. Okay, so now that we're all set here, everything looks good. I'm going to open up silhouette again, and I'm going to hit send. Oh yeah, one thing to note, this doesn't matter too much for our design, considering our logo mirrors horizontally on its own pretty fine. But if you're trying to do a design, make sure that when you print it out, it's going to be mirrored. So you might want to, in silhouette design, in Cricut or Silhouette Cameo, or Silhouette Studio, my bad, you can flip it horizontally opposite ways. So when you cut it and apply it, it'll be on the right side. For us, don't got to worry about it. So the neat thing about Silhouette Studio is it gives you this little reminder, and if you completely forgot, you can you can choose an option to send it mirrored for you automatically. I'm not quite sure if Cricut does the same, but just keep that in mind whenever you're designing or choosing a design to put onto a t-shirt. But for now, for us, we're just going to send as is. And now he's going to cut out the paper. The thing that's going up and down is a little knife, and it adjusts the length it needs to cut out depending on the material. Like we need a be longer depending on how thick it is, etc. Yeah, everyone who's tuned in, thank you for watching. Anyone who's watching after the fact, thank you as well. Yeah, the heat transfer vinyl is really neat. Besides t-shirts, it can also be used on mugs and other stuff. So definitely fun to play with. Let's see. Okay. Let me make sure this turned out okay still. Oh yeah, so it looks fine. The only reason I was worried about that is normally when you load in a mat here, throughout the entire time you or it's cutting, it should stay even like that. I don't know if you noticed at the end it got a little crooked, but didn't seem to affect any of the cuts. It might be really hard for you guys to tell, but on my end you can see like the little small. You can feel it with your finger where the cuts are. So that works out completely fine. Again, if you have any mistakes or errors here, given this design, you can always just cut off the part that's messed up, realign it on the top again, and give it another go. Doing anything with like vinyl cutting and stuff, heat transfer or otherwise, it tends to be very forgiving, especially if we're just doing a monochrome design like this. So don't be worried don't be discouraged if you have any problems cutting, or when you remove the excess, it's called weeding. If you have any problems there where the design gets caught and it messed up, no worries. You just cut it out again. In our case, it probably took a minute maximum. So no stressing. No stressing. 1 second. Oh, got my scissors. 1 second. Okie dokie. So now, since we have all this excess paper here, like I mentioned earlier, we're just going to go ahead and cut just a little box around this guy so we can still, someone or myself can still use the rest of this paper. So I'm just going to cut this guy out of here. And since we lined it up against the corner here, don't have to worry too much about cutting in the middle of the paper, because honestly, that would kind of suck. So let's see. Let me cut this out. Again, you don't need to be super precise. When we peel off the design, it's going to be fine, so you don't have to cut. In our case, our logo has like the outline of it has a huge circle. We don't have to cut a circle. We can just peel it off. It's no big deal. So we can do that. Oh, actually, I'm going to move him back here and move this back over here. Just going to load this. There we go. Okay. So now we've done step 3 of making our custom t-shirt decal. We measured our t-shirt for step 1. Step 2 is uploading the PNG, like any kind of image file of our design, and setting it up in Silhouette. And now we have it cut here. Again, might be kind of hard to see. You can kind of see it just a little bit. Okay. So in our next step, we're going to peel our design off of here and apply it onto our t-shirt. And heat transfer vinyl, once you apply it on there, we're going to use an iron, and you need the heat for the heat transfer. So that's where that equation comes in. 1 second. I'm going to get it set up back over there on the table. Actually, let me do this instead. I'm going to show you guys how to. I just mentioned reading and then immediately forgot about it. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of some of this excess paper. Let me sit down. Okay, so definitely it's just a green square on your guys' end. But once I take this tool little here, we have like any kind of vinyl cutting, have these little tools, and it's maybe you can see it's like a little kind of hook. Not focusing, but there's like a small little curve to this metal, so it's easier for it to pick up paper, heat transfer, or cardboard, or like any otherwise. So let me peel this down. Let me hang it a little to the side here. And what I do is I like to bend it here. And then, come on, guy. Let's see. It's a little stubborn, but sometimes can't go wrong with nails. But in my case, I don't have very much. All right. Normally it's easy to peel off, so leads me to suspect that when we set up this design cut here, while we went with the preset for this type of material, we probably should have went a little stronger. So that's actually great, because I can kind of take us back to the studio. And so troubleshooting number one, if you have a problem doing this project, is maybe you cut out your design, but you can't peel it off. That means the material is pretty thick, so we'll have to go at it again. So let's go back to Silhouette. Let me take you guys back here. Let me see. Let me just make sure that y'all can see. Just 1 second. All right, I think we got you set up here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, while we set heat transfer smooth here, it's going to give us a force 2 out of, I believe, 10. Yep, 2 out of 10. Oh, well, this is our blade length. I'm sorry, my bad. I got it. This is our blade length at 2. This is our force, which determines just how strong is that blade going into it, like pushing into the design, and speed. Kind of self-explanatory on that one. Passes might be a little hard for you guys to see, but let's see. Actually, let me adjust the grid one more time. Boop, 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 boop. We're getting there. Okay. Oh. Edit. You know, I'm a great camera person, I swear. Okay. And then, I should have done that earlier. My apologies. Okay. So, let's see. It's probably hard to tell, but this says force here, deals with speed, deals with strength, speed, self-explanatory. And then over here, you can see my cursor, has passes. So on your screen, if you're following along on Silhouette Studio or Cricut, I'm sure they have a similar setup. This just determines how many times it's going to go over it. So that might be useful if you maybe the design that you're using involves a lot of intricate little small pieces that you wouldn't feel comfortable increasing the speed for, or maybe in addition to that, or alternatively, the material is a little thin. So maybe increasing the force makes you a little hesitant. Passing it twice over won't hurt anybody. So what we're going to do, considering our cut didn't quite go through all the way, is I'm going to increase the force to 6. And I'm going to reduce the speed just a bit, just so the blade has enough time to like kind of get in there. And in addition to that, I want to increase the blade length a bit just to make sure that we're getting all the way through there. Actually, let me put that down a little since we're increasing the blade length. I'm gonna retroactively change that. If I wanted to keep it 2, that might be better. But I'm gonna go with a 3. And yeah, go with 6. Yeah, okay. So again, the reason that we have these settings here is if in the case that when you're making a print, if it doesn't come out all the way through, it's harder to peel, probably didn't cut all the way through. So this is just to, if that happens, this is how you fix it. So now that we've got that set up again, what I'm going to do is, with my professional cameraman skills, I'm going to set you guys back up over here. Oh. Okay. Okay. Again, same as before. Unload this and line this up here. Yeah. In case anyone's new, again, we're making a custom T-shirt decal using Silhouette Studio on the Cameo here. Now we're at the phase of cutting the design. So I'm going to load this up again, line to line there, and just going to go ahead and hit load. There we are. Okay. Let's see. Now at this point, it's going to be I'll ask you to repeat the job. In this case, we don't want to since we have different cutting settings. So since we have new settings now, I'm just going to hit send again. And go ahead and hit send as is, since we don't need to mirror our design. Okay. Unload. Okay. Got the new guy on here. Let's see if I can do it from here. Make sure we got through all the way. Alright. Hold on. I have to go a little further down. Doesn't want to come out. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to down over here, just so it's easier to see what I'm working with here. There you go. Okay. Now peel this guy off again, and make sure we got this here. All right. 1 second. Let's see, sign's not going to cut off. All right. Let's see if I can get him out with this guy. If not, I might just have to go. Previous settings I had probably was fine beforehand. You know what I could do? I can just, there we go. Got an idea. Let's see exactly. I'm gonna try this over here. I'm gonna cut it out another time. 3 times the charm, you know. Lucky 3. And this should be fine because good thing about this is it's also like a ruler, so I know my design is just under 5 inches. It's not going to cut into the previous time we went. And I'm not able to see what I'm doing right now, but I'm just changing those settings I showed you earlier related to force and speed. Going to increase force to 6, and then I'm going to make it 2 passes. We'll make it go over twice. And let me trace back here. A little more. Okay. So I'm gonna load this again. And we're making a custom T-shirt decal. And it's this guy here. Okay. So now I'm gonna hit send again. I'm gonna change the settings. So we're gonna go for 2 passes here, and then hit send again. And send as is. Let's pause out here. See, that's the thing I was worried about before. Let's cancel that job. Sometimes this guy here wants to get loose. You cancel that. And unload. All right. Let's see how this guy. Oh, getting a little shaky there. Okay. Let me see if I can do this side here. And we should be able to do this little corner. Should be able to do this little corner here. Should have just enough space to fit. So I can. I'm gonna go back into Cameo. It's a little small. Okay. So that issue you saw there, where we had it loaded up initially lined up like so. Now you're at a little bit of an angle, but just like straight here. But you notice as it went kind of curving around here. The reason that happens is there's these 2 little white, like kind of donuts, on these sides here that's supposed to like lay on these margins here and hold it in place. So what's happened here? Sometimes you gotta scoot it up. I thought it'd be all right. That was my error. I thought it would just manage to get by, but you know, things happen. So I'm gonna scoot it up here. I should catch it on the margin. We put this right here. Yep. And so make sure. There you go. Scoot that in a bit more. And you just gotta give it a little wiggle. But you definitely want to make sure that this little donut here is staying on the margins. This guy over here is fine. On our machine, this guy likes to be a little be a little slack. But it's just a easy fix. You just gotta keep an eye on it. Okie dokie. So let me send this again. 4 times, Sean. There we go. And send as is. Yeah, for anyone that's just tuning in, we're making a custom T-shirt decal using our heat transfer vinyl and using the Silhouette Studio on the Cameo here. We measured out the T-shirt already. We got our design. Now we're just cutting it out. And you know, it's a learning experience along the way too. Again, this one's going to be a little longer since the pin's going through twice. Yeah, notice we're not getting any of that drift we saw earlier because we got our donuts on here. Switch it just up a bit. And once this guy wants to, I'll unload it. There we are. This looks much better. Let me see if I can just kind of peel this off my sleeve. 1 second. Just making sure it's all good here. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So now I'm going to try to get a piece off of this guy. So just hang on standby for just a second. Once I get this off, I'll show you. I'm going to cut this guy too. So yeah, what I'm trying to look for here is, so this is the one we first cut earlier that was way too thin. Oh, let me make sure you guys can actually see it. So we've got the color here, which is your heat transfer. When you cut, you want to make sure that this side is up. So when we flip it and then peel the transfer off, now since it was too thin, you're not going to see the design on there. But when we peel the transfer off, it'll have the design on here. So whatever it is, whatever we peel off is going to be on here. And then you would take your iron and apply the heat for the heat transfer. And bada bing, bada boom. There you go. So yeah, I'm just taking a look at this one, make sure cut it enough. Goodness, okay. Alright, this thing is like almost there actually. Yeah, sometimes you gotta play with it. When these materials came in, they came with suggested instructions, and those do not quite work. So what I'm trying to see here is if I can just line it up again, and then I can just hit repeat job, and then I should be able to just do it as is. Oh, transfer paper went with it. Okay. All right. Let's just do a new scrap here. All right. I'm gonna set this up again on this guy. Yeah, I hope everyone who's watching is enjoying the stream. I can laugh at myself, and you are more than welcome to. You don't need my permission, of course, but you know, we all are just, you know, when you go into the makerspace, you shouldn't go with the expectation of an immediate success. Like it's a journey, you know. It's the fun of it is in learning new things, trial and error, and all that jazz. And sometimes those things happen. You know, of course, the goal is eventually, you know, you become better about it, and so certain errors happen less, but nothing's ever error-free, and that's just like part of the learning process. Like anyone who's quotation master at anything, they'll still have errors. stuff still happens. It's not the end of the world. I'll throw this back in here. Yeah, and our donuts are lined up, so we're all good. And I'm going to put that force up to 8 like I wanted to before. And hit send. Alright. The reason I gotta do this again is because this one, the one that we cut the hardest in, it might be a little easier to see. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good focus for you guys. But the cut's deeper, but when I flip over here, you can see like the little outline of it here. Kind of need to cut through a little more. So the only thing you want to keep in mind is you don't want to end up cutting through your transfer paper. That being said, though, you still gotta cut through this guy. So this needs to be a little stronger. Alrighty. But yeah, I mentioned earlier that we're using this on a 100% cotton T-shirt. If you don't need to find cotton. Again, the con of cotton that I mentioned earlier is that it shrinks a lot, and that much can vary depending on how much cotton it is. Since mine's 100% cotton, it's gonna shrink a lot. Hence, you want to wash it beforehand. But this also works with 100 polyester, 100% polyester. Any blends between the two. Doesn't quite, at least with this specific one. This doesn't work so well with the black polyester. But outside of like fabric, you can also, or at least T-shirts, you can also use this like on pillowcases, canvas bags, hats, any of that stuff. So if what you're looking for potentially has nothing to do with T-shirts, that's fine too. Still got uses here. All right, let me look at this guy. All right. Okay. Now I'm a little off camera here. Now, with my master cameraman skills, we are in frame. Okay. Let me get this in here. Nope, I don't want to mess up my transfer sheet. Let's see, 1 second. I know it might be a little out of frame here. Just hang on tight. My phone interrupting me. Okay. All right. You know what I'm wondering. Now, for those who, reason why this might be a thing is probably because our blade is not super sharp. Might have to get a new one. But for those who have one of these at home or a Cricut, you may not have to increase the force quite as much if you've got a newer blade on. But these are the conditions we're working under, so come on. Oh, let's see. Right there. Okay. Let me fix this guy here. Give it another whirl. So I'm gonna do what I want to do beforehand, and see if I can just redo the job here. Oh, just gonna move this. 1 second. All right. Put this here. Put this here. Yeah, I'm just putting the paper on the mat, straight lines. Okay. Coffee stuff. Okay. All right. Let's do it one more time. Encore presentation. All right. Switch you up just a bit. Oh, a little too much. And load. All right. I'm just gonna repeat the job. It should just go over the lines we just did. Yeah, for anyone joining in, this is a custom T-shirt design. We're just cutting out design right now. I'm having a little issue just because this paper is so thick. We gotta get through this guy, but not cut through this guy. So a little trial and error. Don't hurt anyone. So. All right. Come on. Let's go. Let's see. All right, can we peel this off? Okay. Oh, okay. One second. On to something. One second. Okay, let's peel that off. And then, oh, okay. I see my issue. Pretty sure I do. 1 second. This heat transfer so tiny. It's hard to skip through this. Okay. All right. Okay. My bad. My mistake. This little paper here, not transferred. Got another layer of plastic here. It is so hard to tell it's on here. We got another little layer of plastic between this guy and this guy. So this is the guy that we should have down. I made the same mistake when I first learned how to do this. And look at me. I'm still doing the same mistake now. It happens. Oh, wrong side. And I'll move that guy out of here. So I'm just going to flip back over here. And the reason I'm not afraid of reusing this is because, well, this has a little, we cut on here before. It's not that deep enough to worry about the integrity of the design. So I'm going to reuse it. If you have enough paper, if you want to, if you prefer to reuse it or start completely fresh, you totally can. I'm just doing this. Okay, so now we release that. This is our side that, this is the side that should be out. That's why we're having issues. All right. Move you again. Move the donut. All right. Okay. And I'm just gonna repeat job again. Okay. Easy mix up. Okay. That's why we couldn't weed earlier. It's because we were cutting through the thick transfer side. So I had it on the wrong side. My bad. So now that we should be on the correct side, we should be able to weed it out, and then we can start applying it on there. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to run over and just get the iron ready. So I will be right back. All right. The iron's heating up back there. So once we're ready to go, we're good. Okay. Thanks for sticking along for the ride, guys. I appreciate it. Let me just peel this guy off of here. And now, okay, there we go. Now when I bend it over, it should be a lot easier to peel. One second. Okay. I want to keep the, a little hard to see. I'm going to try to get this off so you guys can see better first. So, oh, there we go. Okay, now we're getting some weeding. There we go. So now I can peel this off, and I'm gonna, because it's a big old circle here, hopefully you guys can see. Let me see if I can move a little closer. Let me get over here, make sure it's focused. Because we're working with a circle, I'm just gonna go around the perimeter just so I don't end up ripping anything or messing up with any other sticker. Oh, messing up weeding. Sometimes it wants to stick back on itself. No biggie. Just going around and around. But the reason we're taking this off is because we don't want that. We want the outlines being the circle here, and then the outlines of the hexagons we got in the center. So, see? There we go. Okay. Now, real quick, I'm cutting off the excess vinyl here. Okay. So now we're gonna cut, or I'm gonna remove the outside ring. So I'm gonna snip that down real quick. Sometimes you gotta kind of bend it over, and then you can see the lift of the vinyl. And got like a little tool here, so you can catch it up on this hook. And I tried to show it earlier. Might be a little hard with the camera, but all else fails, nails completely work. Okay, this alternatively could be smarter than me and work at the corner here, but this is what I did. And let's get rid of that guy. And well, bam, we're getting there. Now we just gotta get rid of the inside. Again, I'm just using fingers because these are pretty big as all things considered. But let me move you just for a second. But if you're working with something tiny, I definitely recommend using a tool like it's this, or if you don't have that at home or wherever you're working with, safety pin also works too. Just be careful not to prick yourself. Just anything that could get down there. It's relatively thin. Here we have, like, in addition to vinyl cutting, we also have sewing. So if any of you guys want to stop by the makerspaces, any students want to stop by the makerspaces at SWEM, welcome to learn how to do that. But sewing needles, for anyone who has that as well, also works too. So yeah, through blood, sweat, and tears, now we have our design here. So next, now that we've measured our t-shirt, got our design ready, went through a little bit, but now we've got it cut out. How we're going to apply it is, like, it's a little sticky. It's really hard to tell here. But when we apply it, we're going to just put the sticky side down here. So this top here, not sticky. We're going to run our iron over it, and then the design will stick onto the t-shirt. So yeah, I'm going to move this over there, move the camera over there. So just hang tight. All right, going on a trip. And we've got a lot of cords here. Lots of fun. Okay. If that's this bad, I'll just do this side. Okay. All right. So now, final step, putting the decal on the t-shirt. What we've all been waiting for, the grand finale. Okay. So earlier, for those who maybe tuned in a little later into the show here, we got our t-shirt laid out on a flat surface, and we measured the center. And how we measured the center is we measured from this seam of the sleeves to the next one, and we're lining that up initially with the neck here. So I already did that, and there's like a little orange dot. I used washable marker. If you don't have washable markers wherever you're at, a pencil works just fine. Just anything that you know is going to come out in the wash. So I measured that here, and then after that, what you want to do is measure 3 finger widths down, and maybe hard to see on your end, but there's another orange dot here, 3 fingers down from the center. Reason you want that is that's where the top of your decal is. So let me show you right here. All right, 1 second. Okay. 1 second. There's some water on the table. Okay. But yeah, so I want this design so this guy's up. So I'm not going to line, I've got my edge of my transfer paper here, but I want to line that dot that's 3 fingers down to the image. So for me, it's going to be the top of the circle. So whatever you're working, maybe it's the top of like some text or a character's face or whatever. You want to make sure it lines up with what you want to transfer, not the paper. So we're doing this, not this. So I'm gonna place that center here. Oh, other thing I want to note that before I forget, whenever you want to make sure your design is in the center. Oh, take this back. You want to fold your paper in half here. So for this, given this design, it's going to be easy for this to show, but maybe you're working with an asymmetrical design. It'll likely be most designs. But you want to fold this in half here, and you don't want to pay attention to where the transfer paper's at. That doesn't matter. You're looking for the design after all. You're going to fold in half according to where you see the design here. So once you've got that lined up, you don't have to do the whole thing. Oh, well, what I mean by that is you don't have to fold the whole thing in half. But once you've got it pretty lined up, you can make like a little crease in these corners here. I'm going to do a little extra here, and then you just peel that back. Don't worry about it. But you can kind of see now, it's got this little crease in the center of this design. Got a crease on the top and a crease on the bottom. So when I line this up for the center, it's right in the middle. So always make sure to do this, especially if you're working with something asymmetrical, or else you might get a design that's a little to the left or right. It looks a little wonky. So yeah, we've got our center crease. Determine where the center of our design is for our custom t-shirt decal. And then we're just going to place that, again, according to where the design is, not where the heat transfer ends. Oh, let me not forget this as well. That's always good before you iron a design to iron your t-shirt real quick just to make sure everything's flat. So I set this, considering I'm working with cotton, to a cotton setting. Oh, 1 second. My cord is getting a little stuck. Never a good thing for a night. Okay. Moving things around. Okie dokie. So I'm just going to flatten this out a bit. We don't have to iron the whole thing just because, again, we're just looking for the front. When you iron on your decal, whether it's with cotton or leather or any other kind of fabric, you still want it to be on the cotton setting. You don't want it too hot. Also might burn some plastic, and that's never a good time or a good smell. So let's not do that. So now we iron this out just a little bit, looking a little neater. Now we're going to do just what I did before, crease to this here. And I'm just going to place that down. All right. Final stages here. So now we're just going to take our iron here, wrap around here, and then if your iron has an indicator for temperature, anywhere like around 300 or a little more, 305, 310, that's going to work. For us, we just have it at cotton. So that works too. What you're going to do is you don't want to slide because you might shift the paper and might drag it. Not going to look pretty. Thankfully, this works so well on our smallish design here. You just want to take down and press. You're going to do that for a couple seconds, like 10 to 15 seconds. Again, you're going to put it on your design here and hold down and press. And you can just kind of lift and do that a couple times. And you don't want to hold it on for too long individually, but you're welcome to just like pick up, lift, and press as many times as you want. I like to take a little extra time just to make sure when you're in between, you give it some time to cool. Again, melty plastic, never a good smell. All right, and you can't, speaking of smell, you can't smell how it is here right now. It smells pretty toasty. Okay. Not bad, not plastic toasty, mind you, but a good taste. Okay. But yeah. So depending on your design, we're just working on this square here, but maybe you have any like little bits that dangle. Let's say theoretically, for the sake of this, maybe you have like little, like you're making a jellyfish. You'd have, and maybe anything that's dangling, you can kind of press down to give it that same treatment here. So I'm gonna just let this sit for a minute. You want to make sure that it cools, and then once it cools, then we can peel this off. We don't have to. Let's see. It still feels a little warm. It's not going to hurt you or anything. Iron will. This won't. Just give that a little bit. But yeah, making custom T-shirts is always a good gift idea for anyone. You know, Corona and stuff. It's harder to exactly meet people and everything and go out. So any friends that you have now, best. I mean, I like to do is just make gifts, show appreciation. It's like, hey, thanks for sticking with me through this, you know. So nice T-shirt, you know, can't go wrong with it. 100% custom. But again, if this design was asymmetrical, considering you have to mirror it, that's when you'd be able to tell. This is a symmetrical design, not going to worry about it. But yeah, if we had like, let's say some text here, like a character, you'd know what I mean by now in the sense of mirroring it. When we'd apply it on here, since we flipped it, it would look good. So I'm going to give it a shot. It's cold. Usually doesn't need too long. I'm going to see. There we go. Now I'm going to start peeling this and look at that magic. Woo! Look at what we did, y'all. Just want to do it slowly and wha-bam! Shazam! There it is. Your own custom decal T-shirt right here. So regarding machine washing and stuff, again, this is why you want to wash, like if this is a new shirt, like what in this case I got from Joann's, you can get one at Michael's. Definitely wash it beforehand, especially if it's cotton. Otherwise, I don't know if you guys are familiar with old graphic T-shirts, but you'll see their vinyl decals start to crack and shrink. Well, that's because you put in the wash, in addition to the erosion of the water and stuff, it's going to shrink a little, and that's going to take some of the design with it. But yeah, this looks great. This looks awesome. And yeah. So if you ever want to do any other designs and stuff on here, this is just for a center one. Of course, if you're trying to do like a pocket design, different measurements are involved, but it's the same process of measuring out, cutting out, and applying. Heat transfer vinyl, I know we had a little issue earlier of cutting it, but trial and error. But once you get the cutting settings right and it comes out, applying is pretty easy peasy. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, my name is Amber, and yeah, if you're ever interested in watching more heat transfer vinyl related stuff, or if not that, sewing, I'm welcome to do more streams related to that. But yeah, and then hold on, one more. Ta-da! All right, thanks for sticking in, guys, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Sorry.